To the ANC in the Metsimaholo by-elections in the Free State, the Labour Federation informed the SACP about that decision. As you know now, the SACP decided to contest the elections outside of the tripartite alliance. And to give us further insight about the implications of what the ANC finds itself in now, we're very pleased to welcome from our Pretoria studios, Professor Lesiba Teffo. Prof, a very good afternoon to you. Always good to have you with us. Well, this just in, COSATU now does a back turn and decides to go with the ANC in the Free State Metsimaholo by-election. Tell us what you think about this, Prof. And they're now saying they're still going to sit down and engage with the SACP and then get back to them on their decision to go at these elections alone. What do you make of all these developments?
If you were to replay some of the clips, they might confirm what I said earlier on, that they can say whatever they please, but at the end of the day, their umbilical cord is too tight to the ANC. Some of them, their future is too ghastly to contemplate outside the parameters of the ANC. More so because the politics of the stomach also inform what they are doing. You would know that COSATU has been dilly-dallying. But some of us said, when it matters most, they will come forward. But allow me to eat humble pie, that I never thought what is happening in Metsimaholo would happen, that the SACP would eventually actualize the decision they took in 2007 when they first registered as a party. They may not do well, but I think they've redeemed themselves in many ways, and if they begin to build and consolidate going forward, they might not regret.
Prof, let's talk about this. News just in as well is that the IEC in the area is now saying that they could have compromised some parties because of using the wrong ballot papers. I mean, are these the type of things that we need to be dealing with in 2017? I mean, elections are crucial. People are taking results to court now.
Let me tell you, my dear, the IEC lost its innocence. That was in Toko, that was in Kwamashu, and so forth. It had a credible standing across the globe. It was at least a referral point, and indeed it helped establish and consolidate other IECs, especially on the African continent. But you know, this is how it works. When a liberation movement is faced with the possible loss of power, that's when it begins to engage in state capture. State capture doesn't matter much for as long as you are assured of your future. Now, one of the institutions to capture is the IEC. And some would say, we are not surprised by what is happening in Metsimaholo. It was even more interesting for me that the one crying foul was the SACP. And I said, maybe they are saying, we know what we have been doing all along, and now they want to do it against us. We are not going to allow that.
All right. And Professor, now do tell us, I mean, the parties haven't indicated anything yet about the coalitions, but do you think there might be a high probability that the end result requires such an arrangement, or worse still, let's look at the elections that they might actually now, with the latest, of course, announcement, those elections might have to be a rerun. And if we do see coalitions, Professor, let's hear your input on who might going to bed together, especially considering all the motions of no confidence against this one and the bickering between the coalition partners. Are South African political parties ready to share power, Prof?
Maybe let's start where you are, then we can go national.
Yes.
Where you are, what was fascinating to me was to hear the SACP spokesperson 2 days ago say, certainly not in coalition with the ANC. We are willing to consider that with the EFF. That was a very telling and profound statement for me. Now, let's try to nationalize it. So I'm saying effectively, yes, I see the possibility that the EFF and the SACP can go to bed together. And it would be difficult not to compromise and include the DA if push comes to shove. For the EFF, is considering the DA as a lesser devil vis-a-vis the ANC, and they will do anything and everything possible to ensure that the ANC doesn't take over. Hence, those who are not aware by now that at least the deputy president or the commander-in-chief of the EFF, Shibambu, did say the ANC can go and jump into the sea. We are not going to support any motion that can bring them back into power.
Okay,
effectively
Prof.
saying they are going to go along with Mashaba and they are going to go along with Trolip.
All right, Prof, let's leave it there for now, as we do have very, very pressing news to turn our attention to. That was Professor Lesiba Teffo. He's joining us from our Pretoria studios, and we're deliberating, of course, the Metsimaholo by-elections and what we could expect from those results.